Gentlemen, you are most welcome again. With you is Francis. In today's video, we are going to look at one of the function in Microsoft Excel, which is called trim. So the trim function is a type of function which makes sure that you do not return errors due to unloaded spaces. So it ensures that all the empty spaces are eliminated. For example, if you have certain cells, if you have a cell, this is column A, this is column B, this is column C, this is row 1, 2. So if you have characters here and then you have characters here, then for example, you have a word, maybe say she is a word. So there's a space in between the first word and then the last word. Like you have one and then two. Then there are words which are here. Now, in between these words, maybe these are spaces. So we have a space here, we have a space here. So the trim function will remove the spaces. The trim function will remove the spaces inside what? Inside your values. So unlike other function that can operate on range of cells, the trim only operates on a single cell. And therefore, this comes with its other downside of adding duplicate data in the spreadsheet. So we're going to look at how this one is done practically. So we're going to open Excel worksheet. So to do that, I go ahead and tap on the Windows Start key or Windows Start button on my monitor or Windows Start key on the keyboard. Then from there, I'll go and you'll see a lot of application. If you don't get your Microsoft Excel here, you can select all apps and then you scroll up. You scroll up until you see uh, Microsoft Excel. So once you get Microsoft Excel, then from there, you double click on it. So from there, Microsoft Excel will open. Try to expand it. So this is the first interface that you get. So I'm going to to open a new blank document. So I'll go ahead and select a new. Then I'll select the first one, which is the blank document or blank workbook. So I'll go ahead and open. Then from there, I have my Excel worksheet open. So in your Excel worksheet, I'll go ahead and try to zoom so that I can increase the size of the cells. These cells, we said cells are made up of is the intersection of columns and rows, and we said the columns, of course, these are the vertical data arrangement, whereas the rows, these are the horizontal data arrangement. So we have our cells here. I can also go ahead and apply the border to all the worksheet. So now I have my Excel worksheet which is ready for me to use. Now I'm going to be dealing with a function called trim function. So I'll put some values and say Sala is good. I put another value here, say James is 25 years. And I say Francis loves Tebtalks. And I go ahead and put another value and say uh, California is in US. So once you have these values, they are all in this cell, which is in column B. I'll go ahead and adjust the width of this column so they can fit. So now I have all these values which are fitting in these cells. Now, what I'm going to do is that I want to use the function trim to remove the spaces in each of these values that I have in these cells. So I'll go ahead and adjust the width of this cell, which has this function trim, so that after the words can fit there. So I'll go and first select the first one, which is in the row 4. So I'll go ahead under the trim function. I'll go and type equal sign. The reason why I type equal sign is because equal sign tells Excel that you want to do calculation. So whenever you type equal sign, uh, Excel function will be called from the libraries, and then in case of any function you want type, you can easily find it because of the equal sign. For example, if I remove equal sign, then I type trim, this will be regarded as a text value. Excel will not consider it, or it will not recognize it. It will just Excel will think you are just typing uh, usual text values. But when I put equal sign, then I type trim, you can now see Excel will fetch trim from the list of all the function in the library, and then to bring for you the trim function. And trim function is a type of function that will remove all the spaces from a text string, except for the single space between the words. So from there, I'll go ahead and select the function. Now I'll go ahead and do what? And you open the bracket. Then after open the bracket, what is in the bracket is now the text value. So the text value is going to be the value in the cell where the value that I'm targeting is, and this is going to be B4. So I'll go ahead and select B4. After selecting B4, now my value or my text have been selected. So I'll go ahead and close the bracket. Once I close the bracket, everything is done. I have now my function fully done with the start equal sign that tells Excel that I want to do calculation. And then I have the name of the function, which is trim, that aims at removing all the spaces. I have the brackets, open and close brackets. And then I have the parameters inside, which is the text represented by B4. B4 is the cell reference that represent the value or that represent the cell in that box. So once each and everything is done, once you have reached here, go ahead and press enter on your keyboard, and then you will see the words will automatically come, and now you can see everything will appear there. So what about if I go on this one, I go and do the same. I say trim, and then I go ahead and do that. Then select the value and I press enter. Now you can see I have James is 25 years. Then I go ahead, I want also to work on this. I go ahead and say equal sign. Then I put the function name trim. Then from there, I go ahead and remove, I select the text. Then I do that. So now when you see this, the values I'm getting, it seems I still have spaces. So what I'm going to do, I will go ahead here, I will check, give a space there. Now on this still brings the space. So I'll remove that space here. Then I'll remove some of the this. Okay. So after that, let me go to the next one. I go ahead and say equal sign. Then I say trim. Trim removes all the space from a text string except for a single spaces between ones. So when I say a single space, of course, we're going to see how we can do that. So we're going to say this. Then I select the text value. I close the bracket. I press enter. Now, if you had see, my function has successfully brought all the values in the cells I wanted. But there's something we have to put into my in the mind. When you look at the first one, which is saying Sarah is good, and then the outcome, which is Sarah is good, we realize that the same spaces still remains. So what I do, I am going to increase the number of spaces. So I'm going here, I will say I have the first space, I say one, two, three, four, five. So I have five spaces. I want to go and on the and in between sir and is I have only one space. I will put around eight spaces. Say one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. So once that one is done, now go ahead and press enter to see the changes. When I press enter, now you can now see it will still remove the what? It will remove, for example, if I remove that and then I try again, put equal sign, then I say trim. Now, when I say trim, remember I have to put the text value, which is that. But this now, this function, we will remove all the spaces except the single space. So when I close the bracket and then I press enter, now it will ignore these other spaces because on the first one I have 8 space, and on the other one I have uh, around 5 spaces. So it will remove those other spaces and will only consider one single space, which is a normal space. That's why you have something like this. So normally this one helps us to remove errors, which can easily be brought by this number of spaces. I can have another value, say a, and maybe you make a mistake, and you say a girl. So now here, when I want to come up with this, of course you can say I have a number, like the number of spaces, you can even increase, can increase up to here. I don't know how many spaces. So when I go to trim, when I use trim function, this one remove all the spaces from the text string except for a single space, a normal single space. So I'll go ahead and open the bracket, then I will select the value or the text value in that cell, which is B9. Then after I close the bracket. So once that one is done, go ahead and press enter on the keyboard. And now you can see the outcome is a girl with one space. A girl with one space, meaning that this function have ignored all the other spaces which I have here, and then it has brought for me only one space that's separate between a and a girl. So it's very important that you learn how to use this so that you can eliminate unnecessary spaces within your data values in Microsoft Excel worksheet. For now, we're going to stop here. In the next video, we shall look at more functions. Thank you very much. Let's catch up in the next video, guys.